This is the WWE Summerslam 2025 Night 1 full show results video which takes place at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Cardi B makes her way down to the ring as she is the host of WWE Summerslam and mentions that they are in the tri-state area and she screams. She's very excited to be hosting and for it to be the first two-day SummerSlam and welcomes us to the show. The show started with a tag team match between Jey Uso and Roman Reigns versus Braun and Braun Connection. The match starts off with all four men standing in the center of the ring and they pair off and exchange punches. Braun putting boots to Uso, tag to Bronson, Jey with a float over DDT and both men are down and out. Reigns gets back to his feet and back up on the apron, then tag made to Roman. Roman lights Braun up, big leaping lariat, corner lariats ensue. Paul Heyman about having a heart attack at ringside, breaker with a back elbow, off the ropes, Reigns catches him, off the ropes, lariat sends him to the floor. Roman stalking, off the ropes, feeling frisky, then Roman hits Top Con Gyro. The straps are down, breaker is fired up, off the ropes, blind tag from Bronson, Superman punch takes Braun off his feet. Reed with a freight train cannonball senton in the middle of the ring, he calls for it, corner body avalanche, fireman's carry, Uso with a blind tag and a super kick to free the tribal chief. In the end, the action then spills back out of the ring and Reigns spears breaker through one of the barricades. Reed then climbs to the top rope, but Reigns catches him with a Superman punch. Reigns and Jey then hit the 1D on Reed and Jey pins Reed, but Breaker breaks the fall. Breaker then looks to spear Jey, but Reigns shoves Jey out of the way as he is the legal man in the match, then Jey hits a spear and an Uso splash on Reed for the pinfall victory. The next match happened between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus Judgment Day for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Perez and Bliss to start, Alexa sends her packing with an arm drag and tags Flair in. We see Bliss hits a DDT on Perez and climbs to the top rope, then looks to hit Twisted Bliss on Perez. Perez then gets her knees up and Rodriguez nails Bliss, then goes for a pin but Bliss kicks out. Perez then tags in and hits a Russian leg sweep big boot combination with Rodriguez. Perez then sends Bliss crashing into the mat face first and wears her down with a crossface before hitting a hair whip on her and tagging in Rodriguez. Perez then holds Bliss in place for Rodriguez to hit a boot on her midsection, then cinches in an over-the-shoulder torture tack on her. Flair then tags in and flies off the ropes to nail Perez, then delivers some chops on both Rodriguez and Perez. She then hits a flipping clothesline on Rodriguez, then hits a fallaway slam on Perez and kips up. She then looks to cinch in the figure 8 leg lock on Rodriguez, but Perez comes to Rodriguez's aid. Rodriguez then goes after Flair, but Bliss looks to take out Rodriguez with a forearm. She then accidentally hits Flair, allowing Perez to send her out of the ring and tag in. Rodriguez then hits a Texana bomb on Flair and Perez follows it up with Pop Rocks. She then goes for a pin, but Bliss breaks the fall. Bliss then sets up for Sister Abigail on Perez, but stops when she notices Flair staring her down. Flair then hits a big boot on Rodriguez and Bliss hits the Sister Abigail on Perez for the victory, and becomes the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. We then go to a suite and Xavier Woods takes the final piece of pizza and everyone complains. Kofi Kingston then says they deserve it because they are still in mourning. Nikki Bella then delivers more Papa John's pizza for everyone and everyone is friends. The next match happened between Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. Zayn rushes in with a smile on his face, shoulder blocks in the corner, Kross turns him around, big right hands, Sami whip across, clothesline Karrion to the floor. Following out to the apron, Kross blocks the Arabian press and drops him with a right hand, whip across, Sami jumps up on the barricade and lands a moonsault. Back inside, up and over, Karrion hits a Death Valley driver for 2. Trading punches, Zayn wading in with chops, whip reversed, strike rush in the corner from Kross. Diving axe handle, back up top, another one, duck under, thinking Blue Thunder driver, Kross reverses to a straight suplex, cover for 2. Chops in the corner, mounted punches, up and over, Zayn with a lariat. Kross returns the favor with the Saito suplex, cover for 2. Steel pipe comes into play but Sami gets fired up and beats Karrion down in retaliation, to the point where referee Sean Bennett has to warn him off, then Scarlett Bordeaux tries to give him the steel pipe. Zayn picks it up and holds it but decides he's not doing it and he throws it out of the ring. Kross from behind, schoolboy for 2 counts. Sami hits exploder suplex in the corner, fired up, charging in, and then delivered hell of a kick for the pinfall victory, forcing Karrion Kross to admit that he was wrong about Sami. The next match happened between Jade Cargill vs Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. Feeling out, action to the floor almost immediately and Cargill puts Stratton into the barricade, straight suplex on the floor and she kips up. Back inside, Tiffany knocks Jade off the apron with a hip attack and follows it with a suicide dive. Throwing Cargill back in, Stratton goes up top, sent an Atomico for 2 counts. Handspring back elbow caught into a backbreaker, Jade trying to get back in the fight, back body drop to the apron, slingshot back in, super kick blasts the champ. Argentine backbreaker rack, spin out powerbomb for 2 counts. Finley roll from Tiffany, up top, Cargill pushes her down to the apron, hooks her over the ropes and suplexes her back in. Roll through, Stratton reverses to a Falcon Arrow and both women are down and out. Back on their feet, trading staggering elbows, Slap gets a guzzle, Stratton counters to a Frankensteiner. Handspring back elbow, cartwheel into an Alabama slam, off the top and Jade has the knees up. In the end, Cargill hits a chokeslam, then sends her crashing into the bottom turnbuckle face first and drags her up to the middle rope. Cargill then sets up for Jaded, but Stratton escapes and sends Cargill crashing into the mat. Stratton then hits the prettiest moonsault ever for the pinfall victory to retain the WWE Women's Championship. The next match happened between Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul vs Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. We see Orton delivered suplexes McIntyre into the announce desk. One for Paul too, but Drew hits the Claymore out of nowhere. Roll ends up on a table, Paul goes to the top ROP, to the ring post, and smashes 2 bottles of Prime together, then hits Prime Splash off the ring post and through Jelly Roll and the announce table. Medics and referees swarm to check on Jelly, Drew rolls Randy back inside, choking him in the corner with a boot before tagging Paul and his medics get Roll to his feet and help him to the back. He can barely stand but he's not gonna let Randy Orton fight alone. Jelly tags in, second wind, right hands, guzzle and a chokeslam on Logan Paul. He nails Paul with a couple of clotheslines, but McIntyre hits a Claymore kick on Jelly Roll. Orton then hits McIntyre with an RKO, but Paul sends Orton crashing into the ring post shoulder first. He then hits a frog splash on Jelly Roll and pins him for the pinfall victory. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between CM Punk vs Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. In the end, we see Gunther goes to the announce desk and he poses for the fans. Punk then trips Gunther and he falls onto the desk, Gunther then emerges from under the desk and he is bleeding. Punk then sends Gunther back in the ring and hits an elbow drop on him off the top rope. Punk then calls for the GTS, but Gunther escapes and cinches in a sleeper on Punk. Punk then escapes and hits a GTS on Gunther, but Gunther somehow stays on his feet, then Punk hits a second GTS on Gunther for the pinfall victory, and Punk becomes the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. After the match, Punk holds the title and looks around the stadium, then faces the hard camera and holds up the title belt. Seth Rollins' entrance music then plays and he uses the crutches while walking onto the stage with Paul Heyman, who holds up the Money in the Bank briefcase. Rollins then heads to the back, but he stops and drops the crutches because he is fully healed. Rollins then pulls off his knee brace and he makes his way down to the ring with the case. Rollins then punches Punk and hits him with elbows. Rollins then hits Punk with the case many times, then Rollins cashes in his briefcase. Then we saw a match between CM Punk vs Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and the result of this match was Seth Rollins defeated CM Punk by pinfall with a blackout, becoming your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. The Braun and Braun Connection join Heyman and Rollins in the ring to raise hands over Punk's fallen body and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate WWE Summerslam Night 1 show? Tell me in the comments, subscribe the channel please, and thanks for watching.